Hey dudes, today we're going to be replacing an inner CV boot on this MY99 WRX, which is the GF8 model. It's got the EJ205 engine, it's got the 4-speed auto transmission. It's a real simple job. I'm going to show you how to do it. Easy as, bro. Let's get into it. So first of all, to do this job, we want to get the front of the car up on the stands. We want to take the right hand side wheel off, because that's the side of the boot is damaged. And then we go from there. Alright, so it's up on the stands, we've got the right hand wheel off. Now you also notice that I've cleaned under the car with the broom. It's very important that we have a really clean working area, because we're going to be pulling that CV joint apart. Alright, so now it's time to get out of the car and get the job done. Alright, so what we need to do now is we just need to drop the ball joint and the bottom of the knuckle. And that's going to give us enough room to swing the strut out to get the axle joint apart, so we don't have to pull the axle out of the hub or out of the gearbox or anything. Alright, so for that we'll just get a 14mm socket and undo the pinch bolt from the bottom of the knuckle. Now it's got to come right out, otherwise the ball joint won't come loose. Right, then we just get our nice big bar, put it between the body and the control arm, and just push down. Like that. Swing our knuckle out. Easy as that. Okay. So let's duck underneath now. Okay, so you can see the torn boot, right? Quite common because it's right next to the dump pipe. It gets very hot, perishes very quickly. I think it is the original boot, so you know what? It's done pretty good. Anyway, what we need to do first is just give the shaft here a really good clean, because we need to slip the boot back to put the new boot on and everything. We don't want any grit getting in the joint. Okay, so we need to clean that now. So now we just take the boot off. Now we slip the boot along the shaft. Like that. Alright, so what we do now is we just push the shaft in a bit. Like that. And then we want to undo the retainer for that inner joint. So you just basically just pry it out, find the end of it. There it is. Flick it out like that. That's the retainer. Okay. And I'll just put him on a clean bit of newspaper on the floor. Alright, so what we can do now is just pull out on the strut, and the joint will pull out of the inner housing. that. Okay, so one of the races came off. Alright, that's okay. Alright, so that's the shaft out of the inner cup. Right, so now we just need to take this inner part off, this assembly here. Okay, and that's just got a circlip on the end of the shaft. Just take the circlip off. Make sure it doesn't spring across your garage. Alright, put that down on the paper, and then we just slide this inner race off like that. Okay, and what we're going to do is put the outside up onto the paper, so we put it back on the right way. Okay, so it just sits down on our piece of paper, and there's our shaft all stripped down. Okay, so what we need to do now is just pull the old boot off. Easy as that. Now we put it in the bin. Alright, so basically what we do now is just prepare the joint for the new boot. So we just want to make sure that it's clean inside. If it's been busted for a while, you're really going to have to wash it out. This one hasn't been. It's just been split for not long at all. There's no grit inside it, so we're just going to slam it back together basically. But what we're going to do is just get rid of the excess old grease and just scoop some of this old grease out. Need to get rid of the old clips as well. So while we're at it, straight into the bin with them too, don't even bother keeping them. That'll do. Not going to fuss about it too much. Like I said, it's the original shaft, so don't get too emo about it being perfect. If it happened on a brand new shaft, we'd be a little bit more particular. Alright, wipe the shaft off. Wipe the housing off. Now we prepare that inner race. Just give it a wipe. Make sure you keep it up the same way. And then this race, just put it back on. Just match up the shape of it with the other ones that didn't fall off. So the steeper taper goes towards the outside of the race. Give our clip a bit of a wipe as well. Get it ready. Circlip. Okay, now we're ready for our boot. Right, there he is. Now we're just going to slip it down the shaft. Keep it as dry as you can. because it'll prevent it popping off later in life. About that far's fine. Okay. Now we put our inner race back on. So remember which way around it was. The outside we had up. Just put it on like that. Slip it on, boom, like that. Put our circlip on now. Make sure it locks into the groove. Check it by trying to spin it. Like that. Okay, she's in the groove, nice. Alright. Now we pack the unit with grease. So we use a good lithium complex moly grease, right? From a clean container. And we just want to really put a heat in here, right? So, really going to pack this in a race, okay? Now this grease will also help retain these parts, stop them falling on the floor, because we do not want that. Okay, lovely, 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 like that. Now we put a whole heap more into the cup. And we can even spin it around so we get it in all the little valleys. Like that. Grease is your friend with CV joints, eh? A lot of people think too much grease will explode the boots. That's just rubbish. Grease ain't an explosive. C4 is an explosive. And we're not playing with any of that. Okay. So now, wipe our hands off, and basically to reassemble we just do the exact opposite of what we did to get it apart. We just hold up on the shaft, make sure we don't touch anything too dirty, pull out on the strut, far enough so it'll just slip into the cup. And what we're going to have to do now, right, is just spin it a bit so that it lines up with the joint. Like that. Looks like it's perfect actually. Yeah, there we go, slide it in like that. Now, last part of the joint assembly is just to pop the retainer ring back in. So, let's pop it up over the shaft and basically just feed it in. It's a circlip, right? Well, it's a snap ring. And just feed it in from one end. Like that, until it snaps in. and it's good just to spin it around so that the end of it isn't at a valley. So for that we'll just use our little picker. Just spin him around there. It just helps the retainer stay in where it's supposed to be. So I'll spin it out of here. Right, I'm just going to get a mirror and check it. Yep, that's it. Okay, so that's in. Right, so the joint's back together. Simple as that. All that we need to do now is just clean the grease off the cup, push the boot on, and it's basically done. So we'll just get a nice clean rag, give that cup a nice clean. As well. Like that. Okay, there we go. So now we'll just push the boot on like that. Just lock it into its place on the shaft, push it up onto the cup. Okay, and it's on there. So I don't bother using any special CV retaining clips or anything. I just use zip ties. They're plenty good enough for holding a CV boot. So just get them ready. If you don't have a real long one, just double one up for the inner clamp. That also means you've got two tightening points as well, like a double buckle. And I usually just pull them up with a small pair of multi-grips. Just like that, and that's plenty. Chop the tag off. Like that, and that's it, boot's on. Okay, so now what we're going to do, put the knuckle back into the ball joint, and we're almost finished. Alright, so I like to grease everything. So I'm going to put a bit of grease on the pinch belt thread. And we also grease the ball joint housing. So that they don't rust in there. So now we just pop the ball joint in. It's already in the right spot, so we don't need our lever anymore. Just get our jack. Once we get the weight of the car on it, we know it's in far enough, and then in goes our pinch bolt. now it's just a matter of getting underneath and cleaning off the grease that's flung out of the broken boot, and putting the wheel back on and letting the car down. So that's it, guys, all done. Brand new in a CV boot on this WRX. Easy job, hey. As always, thank you for liking, sharing and subscribing, and see you next episode on Neb's Garage.